What's up, beautiful PHP family? How everyone is feeling today? Laura, nice to see you. John, nice to see you. Charlie French boy, what's up, dude? Diabel, how you doing? Thimanef, good evening. How you doing? Hey, Adrian, nice to see you. What's up? I'm doing fantastic, dude. Why I don't have any. Oh, I do. What the heck? Okay. I have some blurry on the background. For some reason, I didn't see any blurry. That was scaring me a little bit. Anyways, Patrick, nice to see you. F. Barrento, what's up, dude? By the way, talking about F. Barrento, we do have a new YouTube video that was about the PHP Portugal meetup. So today we're going to check that out. Boom, 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 boom. I'm doing fantastic, by the way, chat. I'm doing fantabulastic, if I'm honest. Fantabulastic. Okay, today we have a fantastic live stream, okay, chat? We are going to see three main things. The main one will be actually reviewing your code. So you guys have been asking for this stuff forever, and I will be reviewing some people's projects today. If you don't know, go to my Discord channel, okay? DBL, can you post a Discord channel for everyone? On my Discord channel, we have a channel called Review My Code. Post your project links over there, and I will review your code today on live stream, okay? So that's the goal. That's the goal. And we have a couple of projects here. This is the social media. We have one here called HookPress from Theophanis. And we have another one called Deck the Factory from F. Barrento. So far, I have these three. If you guys can find other projects, that will be helpful. Be sure to post them on the Discord chat. Now, before we do that, we also have to talk about this massive critical security issue on React server components. This is actually a big thing, by the way, chat, and it's kind of scary a little bit. It involves the React framework, but to be precise, the feature called React Server Components, which is being used by many React developers these days. And apparently, you could actually execute code without being authenticated on the system. So you could literally trigger an HTTP request that would inject some code to be run on the backend. So you could just output whatever you wanted to. And we're going to dive into this article to see what we can find about this. But it is scary, okay? It is scary. And honestly, as a framework developer myself, because I work for Laravel, I do know probably what these people are feeling, the people that are behind React. This is insanely scary because it may impact million applications at the minute, and we are going to talk about this. Obviously, we have to talk about as well Anthropic buying Bun. Okay, so if you don't know what Bun is this JavaScript runtime which attempts to replace Node.js, and we are going to talk about this too. Okay, before diving into review my code. Okay. John is saying hype. I'm super hyped as well, man. Thank you for coming today. Mr. Puyapal is saying JavaScript is not for the backend. Oh, there is a lot of JavaScript on the backend these days. We need to get used to it. It's very likely that within a couple of years, you might find yourself doing some JavaScript on the backend. So you better get used to it, okay? Agent is saying the following: imagine me sitting only on Livewire code and reading about this. I think at some point, actually, Livewire also faced an issue like this. It wasn't as open as this, but at some point, within a certain version of Livewire, if you would do something a little bit sketchy, you might have you were able to actually execute code on the app side too. I think that got fixed, but it may happen to any framework in reality. Okay, Theophanis is saying the following: what do you think about the FrankenPHP runtime? I think it's awesome. I think it will replace PHP FPM, and I've been using it a bunch, and I love it. FrankenPHP is one of the best things that happened to PHP. Okay, and I hope I will see more FrankenPHP in the future. We are using FrankenPHP on Laravel Cloud. I was using FrankenPHP already on my project on Laravel Forge, and I think it's just better than PHP FPM, period. Okay, so if you guys are not using it yet, let me know. John is saying the following: while watching the Master Nuno, I'm testing with Cloud Code. That's good, man. That's good. That's good. Chat, I have massive news, okay? Say welcome to our new sponsor, Titan. And by the way, Titan is one of my favorite digital agencies out there. They build and rescue web applications and developer teams. They do software. They do web applications in Laravel, React, and more. And you probably know Matt Stauffer as one of the OGs of the Laravel community. You probably know a lot of people from their team too. So if I was just checking that already, and I do know a lot of people within the Titan team. Obviously, at the very end we have Yaz, Tony Messias. We have Keith. Matheus Junges as well, which is one of the viewers of this live stream, which is absolutely awesome. And they are sponsoring the channel. So A huge clap for Titan for being supportive of my work. And of course, the usual sponsors, Redberry International, one of the best digital agencies out there for Laravel and Vue.js projects. We have Native PHP, the best way of developing mobile applications using the best language in the world, PHP. And we have seen Native PHP already on stream. You guys have seen that stream already. And that was super popular, okay? So check them out, of course. Titan, which we just spoke about. JetBrains, which contains the best editor in the world, PHP Storms. We use it all the time on stream, but also a lot of people here are just fans of PHP Storm. It's kind of difficult not be a fan of PHP Storm, if I'm honest. And of course, laracast.com, the best place to learn Laravel and Vue development. And Perrin is saying, Laravel up and running. Do you know what? I have that book. I literally have that book, the Laravel up and running. So this was actually one of my main entry points into the Laravel ecosystem was Laracast in this book. I actually went to Laracast and I bought this book afterwards. So some of the things I was learning on this book were already I have learned in Laracast. But, I was one of the very first buyers of this book. When it initially came out, I was one of the very first people buying it. Matt Stauffer, which used to be a streamer as well, is also a great teacher. Indeed, Jonas is also a great teacher. Boom, boom, boom. Paul Serrano, how you doing? Nice to see you. Teophanes is saying the following. Do you see it being incorporated in Sail in Laravel by default? You mean FrankenPHP? Oh, that would be actually a good idea. Using FrankenPHP for local development, you mean? That's interesting. We do need to say, though, that the adoption of FrankenPHP will just take forever, I think. I don't know how many of you are using FrankenPHP. Write on the chat if you use FrankenPHP by typing yes, or type no if you don't, if you use something else like PHP FPM, which is super understandable, if I'm honest. PHP FPM is so popular these days that, Juanico, hey, dude, nice to see you. I'm doing fantastic, man. How you doing yourself? Thank you for passing by. Yeah, you see, a lot of people still rely on PHP FPM, which is kind of just expected. It is expected. It's just an old thing, and people just rely on it. It is expected, chat. It is super expected. Oh, some people using FrankenPHP though, which is cool. By the way, chat, today I just went to the gym. Do not forget, if you work on a desk, get your ass on the gym every single day. Is not up to negotiation skipping the gym. Are we clear? Are we clear here? Okay? It's not up to negotiation skipping gym. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you have other stuff to do. I don't care if you're delayed in your projects. Get your ass on the gym every single day. You know exactly what is gym, okay, Jonas? You know exactly what is gym. So get your ass on the gym, okay? Are we clear? Are we clear? You cannot do it with university and work? Dude, find workarounds, Just find workarounds. Just do a run between places or whatever. Just find a workaround, okay? No excuses, chat. No excuses. Gym is not up for negotiation, okay? Not up for negotiation. Find a workaround. Go for a walk. Go for a run. No negotiation, chat. Okay, are we clear? And Code Rabbit, of course. Code Rabbit, one of the main sponsors of the channel. They literally open pull requests in your projects with nice code reviews do by AI. And Devin AI as well, one of the best AIs out there. If there is two good AIs, it's Code Rabbit and Devin AI. So I trust these projects a bunch. Now, before we dive into today's content, which, as you know, is about the critical security vulnerability that was detected on React Server components. So if you guys are using React Server components, which you probably are if you are using any of those React frameworks at the minute, be sure to check this out, okay? React 19 is impacted by this issue, which allow people to remote execute code in your projects. And of course, we have also something to discuss about, which is Anthropic buying Bun. Okay, Bun is one of the main runtimes in JavaScript at the moment. It literally killed the entire JavaScript environment by saying that it is fast, and it is indeed much faster than Node.js. And we are going to talk about that. And finally, we are going to do some code reviewing, a bunch of projects here that we are going to review today. Be sure to go to Discord. There is a Review My Code channel, which you can post the link to your project. Ideally, web apps, okay? I know you guys love that I review as well packages, but I prefer to review web apps. Web apps are what we do on our daily lives, so I just much rather prefer to review web apps if you guys don't mind. Before we dive into all of this, have you guys seen my new YouTube channel, my new YouTube video? Say yes if you have seen my new YouTube video. Say no if you haven't already. And this video took me a while to produce, okay? My brother literally did all the editing and recording, and it's a vlog, okay? If you guys click on play, you will see me walking around, just literally preparing a meetup as a regular developer, okay? Okay, so if you guys can, something I would really appreciate is that you click on this link and then you walk all the way down and you see this like button right here is no difficult. You literally just do this, bam, and it's done, okay? No extra work, you just go there and click on this like video and that's it, okay? Be sure to actually enjoy the video, of course, to really click on the like, but this video is a blog, okay? You will see me getting some food, going to an hotel, will be a bunch of this shit. I hope you guys enjoy this one. 5 seconds later, done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this video was edited and recorded by my brother. And what is interesting about this is that I actually had a lot of fun doing it. You know, I don't know if it will be popular on my channel. I actually reckon that it won't be. But I want to do more of this, okay? I like to do content that I enjoy producing. So I want to do more vlogs, more in real life streaming. I want my channel to be different, okay? I don't want to come here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and just stream from the desktop every single time. I want to turn this into more no-noise life, basically, where there will be code, of course, every single day, but I want to turn this into real-time streaming more than anything, really. Because I actually think, in chat, this is just between you and me, I actually think like regular YouTube videos and shorts are just screwed because of AI. And I do think that live streaming is probably the future. Just regular live streaming, genuine content, and you know, that's my plan. Okay, that's my plan. So be sure to hit that like. Yeah, if the video have 1,000 likes, which is a very hard thing to do, I will for sure fly my brother to Laracon, India. Okay, I will for sure fly my brother to Laracon, India, so we can do more content like this. Okay, all right, chat. Time to move forward. Let's do the following. Let's do one code review. Let's start with one code review. And then let's dive into this massive security vulnerability found on React components, okay? Okay, you guys done for that? You guys done for that? Say yes if you're done for that. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. The first project we are going to review, it's from Yamdabad101, which is one of the many viewers who comes every single time to the stream. So props to him. And he submitted the project with the name SmartMedia, okay? And the project about page says the following. It's a social media site project made for fun. So what we are going to find here is a social media made in Laravel. I can immediately detect that watching the project is source code. However, something interesting is that he actually haven't used Inertia. Okay, so I do see a site folder called it SmartMedia Frontend, meaning that the code of the backend and the frontend are in the same repo, but it's not using Inertia, because if we were to use Inertia, we wouldn't have this dash frontend folder, which is interesting. Okay, which is interesting. DBL is saying the following. I correct myself. I mean tinkering with FrankenPHP. Just reread my message and I completely messed topics. Hope your brother will go to India. Yeah, I will do my best, man. I will do my best to get my brother into India, but let's see. I think it will be fun, like just having him with a camera walking around. I think it will be super fun. I don't know what you guys think, but let me know. Let me know. By the way, chat, we have about 35 people on YouTube, but only 16 likes. Unacceptable, chat. Go all the way down and put like on this video if you can. If you can. Let's just dive into the README of the project, and it's obviously missing a few things. Chat, it's important to always have a nice description about your project, but most importantly, it's kind of important to have how to get started. Like, how do I clone this project, and how do I set up it locally? Okay, so something I would expect to see here is something like git clone, type composer install, type composer dev, and you're done. At least that's the minimal expected, so people know how to start with this project locally, okay? The README It's one of the most important things you can have in your project, okay? People will jump into this project and they don't know where to start and how to start, okay? I would also kind of expect some sort of explanation a little bit about what this project is about in terms of details, and I can actually show you the Malfit kit I'm working on, which is still a work in progress, but, oh, it's not here? Malfit kit. It's not this one? Wait a second. Oh, I'm not logged in. Fuck. I don't want to do that now, though. All right. Anyways. Oh, I do have it here. 1 second. Yeah, I would expect, some explanation at least, how to clone it locally, how to run the test suite, how to potentially run type coverage. It's the type of things that I would just expect to see as new liners on the README folder, okay? I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I do think about, okay? Stowe GL, how you doing, dude? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Kriven Office is saying the following: I just submitted my open source hosting control platform, Laravel on Discord. It has a consistent review page, screenshots. So let's do that. Yep. Thank you. We'll open that in a second. Yeah, you cannot post links here, by the way, chat. You kind of have to post them on my Discord channel. Okay. All right, let's see the list of dependencies that this social media uses to see what we find here. You're welcome, Kriven. So we see obviously Laravel 12, we don't see Inertia or Livewire, so very likely the front end is literally separated from the back end, which is, is an option. It's an option. Not sure if it's a good option, but it's an option. I would much rather use Inertia. If I'm using React, I will for sure use Inertia. Okay, if I'm using Vue, I'm going to for sure use Inertia. And this project is not doing that, which is interesting. Okay. Now, in terms of test suite is using PHP Unit, which is okay. It's PHP Unit 11, which is outdated. You can use PHP Unit 12. What else we see here? It is using Sail, which hopefully tells me that this dude is using Docker. And we don't see any scripts all the way down, which is interesting as well. So I have literally no idea how to run the test suite of this project. And test suite is more than just unit test, chat. Remember yourself that the test suite might be just typing, checking, styling, for example. All of those are commands which I don't see on the README. So you kind of have to be explicit about this. Or one thing you can do is go to your composer.json, and all the way down, you have this beautiful section about scripts that you can use. Like script linting will run PHP linting plus npm linting. Type coverage will run past PHP type coverage. Test the linting will run all of the linting tools under the dry run flag. And at the very end, you just run composer test, and this will run the entire test suite, which is insanely useful. Okay, insanely useful. Okay, Stowe GL is saying the following: Inertia is hard to make SSR, meaning server-side rendering. That's not true, dude. Okay, that's not true. I'm going to show you. So to use server-side rendering in Inertia, you literally just have to do this. You need to type this, npm run build SSR, and obviously have the dependencies in place, and that's it. And instantly you have server-side rendering on Inertia. On Laravel Cloud, it's literally a checkbox. Okay, you don't have to do any of this. So a lot of people have this misconception that Inertia does have problems with server-side rendering, and it does not. You just have to run one command and that's it. And instantly you have server-side rendering. And for those of you who don't know what server-side rendering is and why do you need it, it's because if you don't use server-side rendering, when Google is crawling your website for SEO purposes, it won't find the actual page content because it still be processed by the JavaScript, okay? But if you process the JavaScript on the server side, therefore server-side rendering, you get to see the HTML page. The crawlers can see the HTML page and its content entirely without any issues. That's why server-side rendering is so important, chat, okay? Is that clear? Boo, 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 boo. And out of curiosity, chat, write on the chat if you know what is server-side, if you knew already what is server-side rendering. It is actually super important. If you have a backend on JavaScript, it's like paramount to have server-side rendering. Therefore, that's why they are implementing server-side components as well on React. It's kind of to have that pre-rendering being done on the server, okay? Oh, Google does index this, by the way. You might, maybe like something is wrong in your configuration, but Google um, um, does read pages that are, server side rendered. Craven Office is saying the following: just researching if Google crawler still can see contents on the React page in 2025. Well, it can, but you need to use server side rendering on React. Okay. Of course, you don't have to have React in all your pages, though, But yeah. Okay, what else we have? Boom, 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 boom. So still on the social media, I would indeed be a little bit more clear about how to run the test suite and how to set up the project locally. Okay, let's dive into the app folder. Dive a little bit into this, where we have an action-based architecture, which is a good thing. At least I'm a big fan of the action pattern, and I know that a lot of you are fan of the action pattern as well. Okay. Simon is saying the following: SSR is pretty much what PHP does with HTML naturally. That's a fun thing. I still remember when React came with server-side rendering. A lot of people were saying that the React is just doing what PHP has been doing for the last 20 years. And, it's not a surprise, honestly. It's not a surprise that people try to reinvent the wheel all the time. And I think there is good things about React, but the fact that React didn't have any server-side rendering before, that was a problem. Okay, that was a big problem. Okay, so we have a folder that says actions, and apparently actions are separated by concern, which is something I don't do. I typically have all my actions at root level, okay, and that's it. The irony, I know. It's hilarious, I know. I know, chat. I know. So what do we have here? Let's see. We have a user action, which lowercase. Interesting. I'm pretty sure this goes against PSR, by the way. Okay. So are all files in PHP start uppercase? Okay. It's fine that you have get profile action, which I assume will get the information from the action, that fills the profile. But lowercase is actually super. Holy shit. Did you run Pint on this, dude? Okay, so you have to run Pint on this. I don't know if it's a problem with my browser or something else. Okay, there is something else here. Yeah. So be sure to run this command, call it the vendor bin Pint. And what that will do is style your code to follow the latest PSR conventions, which obviously a bunch of them are missing here, okay? You are missing a space between the PHP tag and a namespace. You're missing, again, another new line between the namespace and the uses, and against everything here, really. Yeah, I couldn't believe this was real because I really thought I was like, maybe it still is, honestly. Let me see. No, it's actually like this. Okay, so there is really multiple things here that are wrong. The code styling being the main one, meaning that there is new lines missing between elements, which is kind of difficult to read. Obviously, the class name needs to be uppercase, okay? That's against PSR as well, meaning that the class name needs to start with an uppercase, okay? So this will be G, but uppercase, okay? Then you have the action pattern using a static method, which you don't need. So the action pattern does not have a static function. So what we can do is inject this action on the controller, either via constructor or method injection, and then call a regular function, not a static one, which can be named as execute indeed, okay? It can be named execute, handle, or invoke, whatever you want to. Okay. The ID is missing a type int, and the return type is equally missing here. Then you can use user find. I would advise you to use the query method in between, so you have nice auto completion. What else? If the user exists, use this. Yeah. What I would do here is that I would do find or fail instead, okay? I would just do return find or fail. And to be honest, because this code is so simple, which makes me question why do you need this action to begin with, okay? This code is literally a find and fail. So I don't think you need this entire action, Okay. What do you guys think about this code, chat? It does feel a little bit, can indeed be improved. A lot of improvements here. Okay. Something interesting is that on this action, you are using HTTP concerns. Typically, an action is isolated from the HTTP layer, meaning that it shouldn't return stuff that is specific to the HTTP layer. And here you are returning an HTTP object, as you can see here. Okay, so you don't need this action. That's a TLDR. This action is overkill. To literally just fetch a user and put it within a user resource, it's literally overkill. You don't need this action. You can delete it because you don't need it. Okay. What do we have here? You don't need an action on this case. I do agree with you. You don't fix your microphone or whatever. What do you mean? DL is saying the following: I would not go with find or fail, but yeah, I don't know about the null. It's fine to write query logic outside of the action class. Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay. Let's see this one. So this action is called with mark as read action. Okay, so we are marking a chat as read, apparently. Same problems regarding the styling, uppercase M. I don't know how can you literally read anything in your editor without this kind of coding style issues. It is insane. Okay. Doesn't Laravel use a repository pattern? No, we don't use that. Of course we don't use that. By the way, 50 people on YouTube. Come on, YouTube people, go all the way down and put like on this video if you enjoy code reviews. Must be trolling. This is not trolling, dude. You know. Okay, so what I would do here is that if you want to mark a chat as read, I would provide the entire chat model as an argument. And then I would update the isRead to true, and that's it. That's what I would do. So I wouldn't perform this query inside of here, okay? Which probably the query just get resolved out of model route binding. Let's actually see that. Let's close this actions folder, and let's go into HTTP, controllers, API, chat controller. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So here, for example, you would resolve the chat using model route binding, which is a possibility of resolving eloquent models directly as method injection thanks to a do URL. Okay. And then you would provide that chat instance into the mark as read action, but you would also resolve the action from the arguments as well. Okay. So you wouldn't have to do any of this because model route binding, if you cannot resolve the model, will automatically resolve to 404. So you don't need any of this really. Okay. Check your mic cables. What's happening with my microphone right now? Well, obviously I cannot check my microphone right now, but I will check it after the stream. Okay. Okay, so we spot multiple issues on actions, but also on controllers. Let's dive a little bit into the models to see what we can find here. Okay, so styling issues were detected here again. So run Laravel Pint, which obviously will fix some of them for you. I'm not a big fan of fillable. I understand why you might be a big fan of fillable. I am not. But yeah, that's okay. Casting, the only casting you are doing is read to a Boolean, which undeniably something I've been doing right now, chat, is doing casting on every single attribute of my models. So I'm casting as well things like sender ID or message or attachment. I'm literally casting every single column of my database to is specific type. And the reason why I'm doing this, it's because depending on the database driver you are using, you might actually receive different types in your actual code, okay? Team guarded. Oh, thank you, Fred, thank you. Yes, exactly, Adrian. Not a lot of people know about that, but SQLite gives you strings instead of integers. So what I'm doing now, and actually you guys can see that on my new starter kit, which will be out in the next couple weeks, is that if you click on my user model, I am casting every single bit to its corresponding type. Okay, so I'm casting an ID to a string, even though it's EUIDs. I'm casting the name to string as well. I'm literally casting every single bit to its corresponding type. And the reason why I'm doing this, it's because depending of the driver you are using for the database, you will get different types. SQLite is one example. SQLite gives you strings all the time instead of integers, meaning that even though you have an ID that might be an integer, will be converted to a string automatically by SQLite. So I don't want any confusion on my code. Therefore, I'm explicit with my types. Okay, so I do that on casting, and I do that equally on all the way top on my property reads. I'm insanely explicit about everything. Okay, this is what I like to call typed code or strict code or defensive code on PHP, and we can do that as well. Okay. Aries Afto, what's up? Nice to see you, man. How you doing? Mark121 says saying the following: create project failed on PHP Storm. Well, I cannot help you with that. Simon is saying the following: I agree with the casting stuff. SQLite does weird shit with dates. Yeah, I know, man. SQLite is a fun project. Okay, it's my favorite database driver, if I'm honest, but it is a fun project. StoDGL is saying it will be slow. No, it won't be slow. It will be just as fast as your regular code. Okay. By the way, chat, as PHP developers, something we don't need to be concerned about is things like casting. Okay. If you are casting a string to an integer, this is unnoticeable. Okay. Unnoticeable. You have... Again, when talking about performance, stuff like this is never an issue. It's always databases, networking. We talked multiple times about this. Okay. Will the IDE helper package write those doc blocks manually? So I don't use the IDE helper package. I actually write these things manually. So I have Cloud Code configured with proper rules to do this for me. I don't have to do it. Cloud Code already knows that every single time he has to create a new column or a new model, he has to have every single column in relation on property reads, and same goes with casting. Okay, automatically will equally check if I have any column that should be on hidden, and on hidden chat we have two things that should be there. Obviously, the secret stuff, things like remote token or password tokens and everything. But I would advise you to also put on hidden fields that are just too big. If you have a column text that is just too big, I would advise you to consider to put that on hidden as well, so it doesn't get propagated to the front end, especially when using things like Inertia, where returning models is actually very common. You don't want those models to be huge on the front end. Okay. Okay. You can hear some spikes in your side. Yeah, Diabel, I will check that out afterwards. John Sugar is saying the following. Nuno, do you mind of explaining why don't you use fillables? Because I am paranoid and defensive by default. Okay, so if you are defensive by default, there is multiple questionable things you can do to be defensive. Okay, I think fillables is just one of the 1 million things you can do to be defensive in your Laravel app. And I think it's hilarious that people talk about fillables, but then do dummy mistakes on the code. Using fillables is this concept, call it depth in security, means adding multiple layers of security before reaching your actual database system. And I think like you already have form requests. So therefore, why do you need fillable? You can literally use form requests to validate the input. And from that point, you chill. You can just chill. I don't see a reason why I would use fillables, Charlie French way saying the following: that's not about cables, that's numeric noises, not analogic. Well, I don't know. I will have to check it out. Okay. Magalhães Murito is saying the following. That's one thing I don't like in Symfony. You can specify all the column types in your entity class. Well, yeah, in Laravel you can also do that, but you need to be explicit about your casting, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm being explicit about my casting and just explain exactly what do I want as a return type of my columns, okay? StoneGL is saying the following. Well, you said Inertia good with SSR. Well, let's agree with it, but I disagree with routing system in Inertia. I don't remember a package, but what it happens, but it sucks in my opinion. What do you don't like on Inertia routing system, by the way? Markio and Toansi, I cannot help you on stream. Go to my Discord channel and help and ask people help there, okay? By the way, DBL is saying something really important, which is Wayfinder. If you want to have routes from your backend on the front end, consider using Wayfinder, which is way more powerful than Zig. The main difference on Wayfinder and Zig is that Wayfinder have something called it's free shakeable, meaning that it will only export the routes that you are actually using on the front end. So it won't just dump your entire routes to the front end, unlike Zig, and it's just much better. It's also type safe. Wayfinder is type safe, which is pretty cool. By the way, chat, in case you didn't know, I have actually made a new YouTube video called it A Day in My Life as a Software Engineer Organizing a Meetup. And if you guys love my work, something I would appreciate you guys doing is going to this video and then click on this beautiful thumbs up, okay? This beautiful thumbs up is what makes YouTube recommending my content to other developers, and we need to make PHP great again. And for that reason, let's make sure we put like on this video so everyone of all languages can see how great PHP is, okay? I thought your brother made the whole video, and he did, yeah. Well, he did the recording and the editing. I did the voiceover, but yeah. Also did the thumbnail. But he's working on getting better at this, which is awesome. Okay. All right, let's continue. Regarding type safety, chat, I think this code we are seeing right here contains multiple problems, okay? You can use type safety on this relation return type and be specific with the generic type as well. You can use type safety on this property. If you go to my starter kit, which is currently a work in progress, you see all of that, okay? So we have type safety on return types. We have type safety on generic return types as well. We are explicit with everything. So if I were to go here, for example, and see, we don't have a relation yet, but I am literally type safe everywhere, including on closures, for example. Okay. Okay. John Sugar is saying the following: inertia routing is just Laravel routes. What is not to like? Well, I do agree with you. Plus, like, inertia has very powerful things like links and everything. Not a lot of people know about this, but if you go to inertia link, you will find obviously a component that allows you to create links. Now, when I first saw this link, I was kind of surprised. I was thinking, like, why do I need a component to create a link? We don't need this. However, something that this link does is it does powerful things like prefetching, meaning that when you pass over a link, for example, we start prefetching the content before you actually click. And that can make the website much faster. Let me show you. Well, it's not here, though. What the fuck? Prefetch. Oh, it's not here. Interesting. Let me search for it. Prefetch. Oh, here we go. Okay, so what you can do is use this property called prefetch on your inertia links, and this will literally start prefetching the content that you are about to click before actually clicking it. And this will make your website like 1,000 times faster, okay, chat? 1,000 times faster. There's multiple things you can do. With Livewire, you can also do that, by the way, okay? With Livewire, you can also do that. This is just one example why the link component is so powerful. Okay. Old stuff for Livewire users. I know. Livewire has this shit forever. I know. Gunuto is saying if Inertia uses service workers, I have no idea. Stone GL is saying the following: the problem with default Inertia routing is Ziggy. So you are confused again. Inertia does not use Ziggy; it uses Wayfinder. Okay. So Wayfinder does tree-shake routing, meaning that only the routes that you actually need on the front end will be exposed to the front end. And Wayfinder is like 1 year old already, okay? And with Inertia starter kits, we use Wayfinder. Zeno is saying, I would appreciate if your new starter kit will be on packages. Yeah, I will have to think about that because there is multiple things I want to do on my starter kit, including having Stripe support and everything. There is multiple things I have talked about on the previous live stream, but this starter kit is probably the most powerful starter kit that will ever exist on Laravel. Okay? And I want to make sure of that. Regarding testing, regarding tooling, regarding the quality of code, I want to make sure this starter kit is the best starter kit that ever existed for Laravel. And for that, I want to also add Stripe capacities into this so you guys can literally start your SaaS and become billionaires in the second. And also give me $1 million when you guys get rich, if you can. By the way, chat, if any of you gets rich at any point, you guys give me $1 million, okay? If you have like billions, just give me 1 million. I would be happy with that. Diabel, I don't know yet if the new starter kit will be like a GitHub sponsor thing or will make it open source. I don't know yet. Put that on a license. Ooh, that would be smart, dude. Like literally, you can use this starter kit, but if you do like $1 billion in revenue, you need to give me like 10%, 1%. Deal done. Oh my god. Magalhães is saying, where do I live? PHP barely pays the bills. Yeah, man, if you live in the country where developer salaries is not up to expectations, something you can do is just work for other country, okay? It's not that difficult. So if your English is good enough, you can literally just seek for positions outside of your country. Added to past PHP, I would be a bazillionaire at the moment if I were to do that on past PHP. Adrian leaving the chat. Simon is saying, how are the PHP salaries in Portugal? I wouldn't say they are not good. So that's why I don't work in Portugal. John Sugar is saying the following: Nuno, you could make the starter kit free, but have it Stripe and other special packages on GitHub sponsors. Let's see. I will think about that. Okay. I can also do something like the starter kit will be paid until I reach 200 sponsors, for example. I can also do that. I will think about that, chat, all right? Meanwhile, we have 50 people watching on YouTube. YouTube people, go all the way down and put like on this video, okay? If you can. If you don't mind. If I'm not asking for too much, okay? Yeah, Mdabad. In a serious note, what I would advise you is go to my Inertia starter kit, okay? I'm going to send you this. So if you go to Nuno Maduro and you type Laravel starter kit, and I'm going to actually show you the Inertia one, just go here and actually take a close look to how do I do things here. Okay, so if you click on an app folder, for example, and you click on actions, and you click on create user, I'm doing multiple things here that you are not currently doing in your own actions, okay? And I would advise you to just check this. One example is that regarding styling, because I'm set up with Pint PHP, you see the styling just being perfect, okay? You go all the way down and you see me using things like type code, including like array types, for example, or string types, and you can see exactly what I'm doing here and get inspired to translate some of this to your own code. Of course, you might not understand everything, but the cool thing about AI is that you can ask AI, like, why Nuno, for example, use the query method, or, for example, why Nuno is using final read-only classes, or why Nuno is doing the sensitive parameter attribute. Ask that to ChatGPT, and it will just give you some hints on why I do the things I do. By the way, chat, who knows about this? Write on the chat yes if you know about this attribute, and write no if you don't. Boo, 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 boo. We are about to see if you guys are leaking passwords into your logs. Nuno Nation, do you guys know about this? Ah, a lot of people know about this. Why do I have the feeling that either you guys are lying or you guys have seen my previous live stream? Come on, everyone know this? Yeah, I know. I know that I've shown it in the previous live stream. Okay, a lot of people already know. Okay, for those who are a little bit shy to say no, this attribute is a new feature of PHP. And what allows you to do is that every single time you are providing an argument and you think that argument might contain sensitive information like people address, people's passwords, or something that you think is sensible, and it cannot be dumped into logs, what you can do is use the sensitive parameter attribute. And what PHP will do automatically is not add this to the stack trace of exceptions, meaning that it won't be visible on your logs. So you won't be sending that stuff to Nightwatch or to Sentry or whatever the log place you guys are using. Okay, this is important. Okay, we are dealing with people's information, and I'm super careful about that in my own projects. And this is one of the many things you can do to protect people's data of being sent to third-party providers, okay? Okay, beautiful chat. That was one review of Yamdabad SmartMedia. And I think there is multiple things to improve here, okay, Yamdabad? Everyone clapping for Yamdabad for being kind and humble to send his project to be reviewed today, okay? Everyone clapping on the chat right now. Come on, everyone clapping. Very good, very good, very good. Very good, very good, very good. So for those who are asking if this attribute is a new feature, it's actually something that exists natively on PHP since PHP 8.2, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it's not a Laravel thing, it's a PHP thing. Mayda1063 is saying the following. Nuno, how do you choose the projects you developed? That's a good question. So regarding open source, I typically try to identify problems that I have during the day. And obviously, not anymore, but like 5 years ago, before Laravel Pint or past PHP, there was multiple tooling that I think it was missing on PHP. I think coding style, while we had a PHP CS fixer, I think like having to configure that shit all the time was a problem. So I just created Laravel Pint, which is literally a wrapper or a box on top of PHP CS fixer with a predefined set of rules. That's it. And a beautiful output on the terminal too. And people love that, by the way. People love when you wrap stuff and you make it easy. So past PHP was also because I came from the JavaScript community a little bit. I went there for 2 years. And when I came back to PHP, I just wanted to develop tests just like just JavaScript. And past PHP born that way. At Laravel, I worked on Laravel Cloud, which because I wanted to develop something from scratch in Laravel. And now I'm working on something new on the AI team as well, which is super exciting. Okay. Sino, what's up? How you doing? By the way, Shed, I need to show you something. I don't know if this is public. Okay, let me see if it can be public, and let me show you. This is crazy. Okay, this is crazy what I'm about to show you. Let me see if I can show you first. Do I have this? Yeah, I do have this. Okay, I don't know if this is public though. Oh, I don't think it's public. Fuck. Okay, it does not work. However, let me just tell you this. I have streamed 177 times last year. That's almost half of a year. Just streaming every 2 days. Just once every 2 days, which is crazy. And I have 320 hours of streaming last year in the last 12 months. So Twitch sent me this recap of how many streams I have done, and this is crazy. I think many of these streams were done on the very early days of my streaming, where I was streaming every single day, and which I don't do anymore. It was not scalable, at least while having or working at Laravel, but still crazy. Okay, so that's my Twitch recap of the last 12 months, which is insane. Insane. What was that? What do you mean? How about PHP Insights? I don't recommend you to use PHP Insights anymore. I think it's outdated. It's kind of crazy that people are still using it. I created that project literally almost 10 years ago, and people are still using it. You got your first contribution to Laravel Pine? Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. Do you watch football? Yeah, I do. I love football, okay? Chat, before diving into another code review, have you guys seen this? Critical security vulnerability found on React Server components, okay? And what this allows you to do is execute code remotely, even if you are authenticated. What this actually means that for every single application that uses React Server components, even if you don't are actually actively using them, just the fact that you have that package included in your project means that the attacker can actually send a script of code to be executed on the server side. And in my opinion, this is probably the worst case scenario in terms of security vulnerabilities, okay? As a framework developer, and I told you this at the beginning of the streaming, I have a huge amount of respect by framework developers, and when they probably read this, they were scared to death. Okay, just scared to death because the ramifications of something like this are just huge. Okay, so let's read a little bit about this to see what we find so far. On November 29th, Davidson reported a security vulnerability in React that allows unauthenticated remote code execution by exploiting a flaw in how React decodes payloads sent to React Server functions endpoints. Even if your app does not implement any React Server function endpoints, it might still be vulnerable if your app supports React Server components. Okay, AKA, if you are using React 19, the likelihood that you are affected by this issue is 100%. Okay? React 19 with server-side components, the likelihood that you are affected by this is 100% unless you upgrade to the latest version, which already have a fix on it. Okay? Okay. Thanks for the live. Thank you so much for being here. The Livewire one, yeah, I do know for a fact that Livewire also had a version that was affected with remote execution as well of code. Although I do think that in Livewire, you kind of had to be under certain conditions to be able to be open for that issue. So let me know what you think. Junior Dev is saying the following: why do you recommend tools similar to PHP Insights? Well, PHP Insights was a tool that was aggregating a lot of various tools, while the other tools I have created, they are a little bit different. Agent is saying, I have watched 150 hours here. Wow, dude. Oh, you can also see that? That's insane. I didn't know that. Okay. I was wondering, like, okay, what else we have? Yeah, immediately action required. The fix was introduced in all these versions, so you just have to upgrade. And all the bundlers that are affected, of course, Next.js. So if you are using Next and React server-side components, you are affected. VGS, of course, pretty much everything. Pretty much everything that was using React server-side components. What else we have here? Yeah, the latest version of Next already contains that fix. Something I found interesting is that Cloudflare was proactive and actually fixes this at network level, okay? Because many of these apps are being served through Cloudflare. What Cloudflare have done is that they acknowledge, okay, there is a problem on server-side components, and we are not going to wait for everyone to upgrade. We are going to actually fix this at network level, which is insane, okay? So Cloudflare automatically deployed new rules across all the network to block that issue from happening to applications like Next.js that was using React server-side components. I found this very interesting that they were not only proactive, but also they can fix that at network level. That's a very cool thing from them, by the way. I think this is literally free marketing for them because they could just do nothing, but they actually deployed rules across the network to just prevent that from happening. And props to Cloudflare. I'm a huge fan of Cloudflare. Who is using Cloudflare here? Write on the chat if you are using Cloudflare. I'm using Cloudflare for a bunch of things, including Cloudflare Turnstile, which we talked about this on People Up. So this website I have built, called it People Up, allows you to have this reCAPTCHA, which prevents bots from logging in this system. And this is one of the many services I'm using from Cloudflare. Cloudflare for the win. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love them. Okay. And I love the, the networking capacities that they provide. If you are under attack, you can quickly just fix that on Cloudflare too. I love them. Johnny is saying you never used Cloudflare. That's interesting. Dude, I would advise you to study that, because Cloudflare has a bunch of services that literally work like magic. Turnstile being one of them, this one. But there is other stuff that is super powerful on Cloudflare. I would advise you to just go there and check that out. Okay? Well, 2 weeks ago, the problem that existed was actually AWS going down, not Cloudflare. And trust me, if AWS goes down, everything goes down. Okay? AWS is just too huge. So that was something that happened. If you guys have any app on using React server-side component, meaning Expo or Next.js, anything, just be sure to upgrade. Now, there is something else I want to show you, which is Anthropic buying Bun. Oh, shit, I just closed it. Anthropic, there we go. Okay. Now, write on the chat if you know what Bun is. Write yes or no if you know exactly what Bun is. But, of course, we know Anthropic, the company behind Cloud Code, which is literally what everyone is doing for vibe coding, okay? I'm using Cloud Code all the time for... This is, by the way, I spend most of my time at the minute using Cloud Code, okay? Most of my time at the minute, I spend it using Cloud Code. And Anthropic is the company behind Cloud Code, probably, arguably, the most powerful coding platform in the world at the minute, okay? And this company just bought Bun, which we are going to talk in a second. Before we dive into that, chat, I have literally just published my new YouTube video called A Day in Life as a Software Engineer Organizing a Meetup. If you guys haven't checked this out already, go there and do me a favor if you can. If you enjoyed the video, go here and click on this like button on the video. I would really appreciate that. It's a vlog, okay? So you guys will see a bunch of my favorite moments while organizing a PHP Portugal meetup. And they will be awesome, okay? Check that out if you can, okay? What else? In case you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer. I love what I do. You can support my work financially by becoming a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber, okay? If you have Prime, it will be literally for free for you. And that's it. What else do we have to talk about? Do we have any news here? We do, but let's save this for later, okay? All right, let's talk a little bit about Anthropic buying Bun. Okay. Boo, 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 boo. Okay, a lot of people know what Bun is. In case you don't know what Bun is this drop-in replacement for Node.js. Okay, a lot of people who develop JavaScript on the backend especially, they use something called Node.js. Even if you are using something like npm to install your project dependencies, you are effectively using Node.js behind the scenes. Now, Node.js is a runtime that runs on top of V8 of Chrome, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it runs on the V8 engine. And what Bun is a new JavaScript runtime that runs on top of Apple JavaScript Core, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it's a new JavaScript runtime. So you can execute JavaScript code using Bun. Now, When Bun came to the JavaScript ecosystem, it made everything faster. Okay, it made bundling much faster. It made things like npm much faster. It made things like pretty much everything that runs on top of JavaScript is just much faster, and also comes with a bunch of literally internal tooling. For example, it comes with its own testing tool, just like Vite comes with its own testing tool as well. And what is interesting about this is that Anthropic, the company who literally powers all the code that is being produced today by developers, because do not take this wrong, but a lot of us, we won't be typing in the future. Like within 1 year, 2 years, you guys just don't type code anymore, okay? You will be prompting AIs to write code for you. And if you don't do this, you are just wasting time, okay? AI, especially Cloud Code, the latest models, they can write code very accurately good if you are explicit with rules. And over time, these models will just become better and better. And the company who is producing the better code at the moment, called Anthropic, just bought this JavaScript runtime. Now, what this actually means two things. The first one is that the company who was running Bun was a small company, and now will have infinite resources, meaning that in the past, this all-in-one solution for JavaScript had like 3-4 people. Now it has like infinite resources to become better, meaning that all this tooling that Anthropic will be using behind the scenes will very likely to be on top of Bun as well. And this is a massive thing for the JavaScript ecosystem, by the way. Okay, I wish, and I'm gonna just say again, I wish we would have a company like Anthropic investing on the PHP ecosystem. It's kind of sad a little bit that something like the PHP Foundation, for example, gets very little funding, for example, to buy developers to make PHP better. And we saw an investment on Laravel the last couple in 2 years ago of $57 million, but 1 billion. Not 1 billion, but now we have this company with millions of dollars literally making Bun better. Makes me think like, Jesus Christ, the investment on JavaScript by these web technologies is just huge. But yeah, which is insane chat. I don't know what you guys think about this. This is huge for the JavaScript community and for everyone relying on Bun for the projects at the minute, okay? Mixim CV is saying the following: your next step after the meetup is organizing a hackathon. Oh, maybe here on stream. I don't know. Agent is saying I will use a Neuralink. For what, dude? Yeah, dude, Shet, I don't know if you guys realize how big this is for the JavaScript ecosystem, but it is big. It's very big, okay? Office is saying the following: Cloudflare was not down due AWS being down, but due an internal bug on its bot management system. That was AWS, by the way, not Cloudflare. AWS went down because of a bot management issue. What is this? DML just added this message to the Nightbot. If you type !Nation, you get this message. Be part of a growing community where people are crazy, but kind of in a good way. We love past Laravel and so many other things on the PHP ecosystem. Join Nation now. Oh my God. Simon is saying the following: what do you think about building AI agents? I think it's will be like a skill to have, you know? I just went to a conference called AI Lisbon. This one, but also like when I went to how is it called? I literally forgot the name. To a conference in Lisbon just after this one, Web Summit. The only thing people were talking about is like agents, building agents to improve productivity. So companies who rely on people for some boring tasks, they are literally buying developers now, agents, so those agents will perform those things for them, you know? So I think it's huge, by the way. And if you want to get better developing AI agents, people will hire you for sure, okay? So I don't know yet what is the Laravel SDK, and I don't think Taylor gave me any news about that. Okay, Let me see. Twitter or X, Taylor Otwell. I don't think Taylor have tweeted anything about that yet. Yeah, he talked that he is currently developing SDK. He's currently in Vegas, apparently. So that's all we know. We don't know anything more about the Laravel SDK. Okay. What else we have? Oh, we are hiring at Laravel. Did you guys know that? So at Laravel, Ashley and I are actually hiring a front-end developer to work with us. So if you guys want to join the AI team at Laravel, here we go. This is your chance. I don't know if any of you does JavaScript in React or anything, but here we go. Diablo is saying the text is from you or not, Nuno Maduro. Which text are you talking about? All right, chat. If you guys are up to Laravel 12, PHP 8.4, Inertia, React, TypeScript, and Tailwind, be sure to apply to this, okay? Any recommendation letter for the Nuno Nation? Well, you can say that you watch my streams. I'm pretty sure they will give you some points because of that. Macon C is saying the following: I do, but they won't hire me. I will fail the interview. You know, you miss every shot you don't take. So try, dude. What do you mean? Scroll a little bit down on the job ad. How is the hiring process? I have no idea. I would reckon that you will have, that Ashley will receive thousands of application letters, if not thousands. And then he will just walk through all those applications, find 50 people. Then it will schedule interview with all those 50 people. And if from those 50 people, we are going to just trim it down to just 10 or whatever. And then, I don't know. That's what I would expect. Strong candidates may also bias to action, take ownership, and never settle. Yeah, this is because we have a small team. So, you need to be someone who actually makes decisions, who just takes ownerships of things, of features, takes action by themselves. You cannot wait for people to tell you what to do. Okay, especially in a small team like this, we are just more. We are like 4 people at the minute. So, so if you come to do front end with us, you will be taking decisions for sure. There is no technical interview, man. Like that's from that's from 20 years ago. People no longer do coding technical interviews. Okay. I mean, if you apply to this, you are likely to just have to deliver like a GitHub profile or anything, and your GitHub profile will tell me exactly if you are good at doing code or not. Okay. No payment rate equals to red flag. Well, it's an American company, so I think you're okay with it. You will be okay. This is not EU based. This is US. Well, you can be anywhere. I don't think that is. Yeah, remote across the globe, so you can apply regardless where you are. Okay. All right, let's continue with code reviewing. What else we have here? Boom, 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 boom. I think that's it. Sheep or Die, my vlog. Here we go, chat. If you guys want to give me a retweet on this one, I would really appreciate. Give me a retweet on this one and put some likes on it. It's the tweet about my new video on my channel. Okay, this is done. This is done. This is done. We don't need this either. This is the next project we are going to review. Okay, I promise you I didn't review Laravel packages, but I guess we are going to do it. Okay, Veltix Official, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. Okay, The next project we are going to review, it's called HookPress. HookPress is a package, it's a Laravel package that uses composer hooks to automatically discover, filter, cache classes, traits, or interfaces in your application. By the way, composer hooks are really interesting. So let's see what this package is really about. Let's scroll all the way down. We have a logo. HookPress is a Laravel package that uses composer hooks to automatically discover. This is what we just read. Builds a static class map during composer install or update so your app can look to discoverable classes in a more performant way. No boot time reflection, no recursive directory scans, no config arrays to maintain. Why? Okay. Yeah, this is a reason why I don't like to review packages on my stream. It's because nobody actually needs this shit, you know? Like, this kind of stuff, it's useful for a very subset of people. And by looking at this, it's something that that a very small subset of people actually have need to do. I understand the value of this package, and I do have packages myself like this as well, meaning that packages that are super useful for my own subset of features that I need to build. But you know, the regular developer that works 9 to 5, he likes to see models, he likes to see controllers, he likes to see actions from requests, and take some tips from that. And he has the need of building an hash map of classes that he, you know, that he needs to search off, for example. So this package is interesting. So you can do something like search for all of the classes using this searchable trait, for example. But this is very niche, okay? People typically don't need to do this. So respect for this work, by the way. We can still look a little bit into the code if you want, but again, this is not something that people usually need to do, okay? Hi, Chris, nice to see you. How are you doing? Let's click on composer.json to see what we find here. Let's go all the way down. A lot of tooling being used, which is a good thing, okay? A lot of tooling being used, including profanity checking, type coverage, architectural testing. All of this stuff is magical. So congratulations because of that. If I go to workflows and I click on run tests, I assume I see all of that being run here. Oh, you have composer scripts. Interesting. Let's see them. Let's click here on. Oh, here we go. Let's click on composer.json. If I go into scripts, here we go. I see a composer test CI, which runs past PHP and coverage 100%, type coverage 100%, and profanity checking as well. By the way, you cannot do testing with type coverage at the same time, okay? You are very likely to have a bug on this one, meaning that this flags, they won't work combined at the minute. So you may have a bug here to double check. What else? Use regular PHP, Pint, which is absolutely awesome. Use something called a conventional changelog, which is interesting. Is that a package? Oh, we need to double check this. I kind of wanted to also improve my workflow regarding commit messages in the creation of releases.md. So it might be the good opportunity to just double check what package are you using for doing this. What is this? PHP conventional changelog. Interesting. Let's check this one. Very, very, very interesting. Meshiv Siv is saying the following. What are your take having CI, CD scripts in compose.json? I think it's a good, well, if I'm honest, what I would like to see there is composer test, and you would use that on your CI. And the composer test is a generic script which you might execute as well locally if you want to. So I don't think you need to be specific on compose.json, but I've seen that in the past. Not by me, but I've seen that in the past. Okay, so chat, while reviewing this project, I just discovered this PHP conventional changelog, which might be interesting. I want to check this out real quick. Let's go all the way down and see what this does. Does a lot of things, apparently. Okay, but When a new release of a software is about to be announced, it's convenient to generate documents that let you project users know where the changes and other relevant notes about the project release. So I assume what this package does is goes to your commit history and creates a changelog based on that, which is interesting. Let's see. So people can add this into their composer scripts. And then we run PHP conventional changelog -- commit, and it will generate the changelog automatically from your commit history. That's very interesting. I'm going to send you this, chat, because we may have to double check this. This might be a good thing to do to explore a little bit, okay? There's a lot of options because you might want to generate a changelog from a specific date to a specific date, or from a tag to a specific tag. Very interesting. We have to check this project, chat, once we find the time. Oh my god, supports PHP 7.1? Why? All right, let's give a start to this project, chat. It looks awesome. Oh, I'm not signed in. You guys give a start to this project. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, what else? We can close this, 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 and we can close this. And we can go back here. Agent is saying, so that's what GitHub does on the release too? Not exactly. So the GitHub release page, what it does is that when you click on release in auto-generate notes, it will just pull your pull request titles and smash them together within a release document. What this package does is a little bit different. We'll go to your commit history, not only those pull requests, but equally commit history that when you push directly to main, for example, and then it will just tell me, well, on main I have this couple commits. This is a feat, this is a fix, so I need a new minor version, and it will just list them. You know. That's an interesting. Conventional commits is known, and I do know for a fact that on JavaScript people use this shit all the time. I haven't seen it yet in PHP. It is interesting that we find it here. You always use pull requests? Well, I don't. You know, for example, on some projects when I need to move fast, I don't use pull requests. Pull requests are good when you reach a certain amount of people, plus you are like in production already. So if you go production with a project, you obviously need pull requests, but before that you are just playing locally with things, you know. John Sugar is saying you will have to be good with your commit messages. Yeah, that's the thing about conventional commit, is that it's only useful if you are good with commit messages. And I'm gonna be honest, man, at Laravel, I'm probably the one that really cares about commit messages. Like everyone else is just whip and emojis and XYZ. So yeah, I'm the only one, you know, that really cares about commit messages. Not the only one, but one of one of many for sure. Yeah, a lot of people just use whip. A lot of people don't really care about commit messages, and I understand it's an option. So my name is Tito. How you doing, man? Welcome to the live stream. There is only one time that I actually use whip, is when, imagine that I actually want to commit temporary stuff. So something you can do is just type temporary, add logs to service worker or whatever, you know. So I do this sometimes where I need to actually just commit something temporarily to check logs in production, for example. But I may also just do like whip head logs in to service worker. But now that I'm thinking, probably just temp is just a better prefix for this kind of stuff. Okay. Being chilling, that's awesome, man. Thanks for coming today. By the way, chat, very, very, but like insanely important, okay? I have just published my new YouTube video. Call it A Day in Life as a Software Engineer. So what you guys can do, if you really appreciate everything I do, is click on this video, Here is the link for everyone. Okay, here is the link for everyone. And then you go all the way down. You see this like button? What you do is just bam, smash that like button so we can get this video recommended for every single JavaScript developer in the world to see what PHP is about. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay, so still on this package, I'm going to review one more thing before jumping into a different code review. And I think we have some on Discord, which is a positive thing. Oh, interesting. They're using Laravel Ray. I know a lot of people who are fans of Laravel Ray. I don't use it myself, but I do know for a fact that it's an interesting project. Okay. What else? Polyfills. What is this? Let's take a look. On JavaScript, there is this concept of polyfills when you want to give support to every single JavaScript environment, and you kind of have to make functions into the global namespace. In PHP, I haven't seen that a lot. So I want to click on this polyfills.php, and we see an array any. This is interesting. So array any is actually a feature which was added to PHP, but many of the older versions of PHP don't have array any yet. So what you can do is add this array any yourself if the function does not exist already. You can do the same thing with array first or array last, for example. This is a very interesting concept, by the way. It's called polyfills, meaning that I'm going to add the functions that are still missing on the oldest PHP versions. Everyone knows what PHP is about. Oh yeah, baby. Luis Cruz is saying that Laravel uses polyfill to support older functions too. That's a good one. AJ said, did I saw a beer in your N in this video? You did saw a beer. Yeah, that's a beer. That's a beer. That's the very end, I think. Yeah, this one? Yeah, that's a beer, man. I'm going to be honest with you, Chat. I don't want to lie to you, okay? I don't want to lie to you. So what I'm doing at the minute is that I am drinking when the occasion it's worthy, okay? For example, if I spend like 2 months like doing gym work and then having healthy food, but then I'm having a PHP event, I'm going to have some drinks, okay? I'm going to have a couple of beers with my friends. With Chico, with Lucas, with all my buddies from PHP Portugal, I'm going to have a few beers. What I want to make sure is that when I come back to home, I spend like 2 weeks hardcore on gym, healthy food, and everything is just perfect. I think just like in everything in life, you guys have to be, conscious about things you do, okay? Having a beer every now and then is not a problem. Having a beer every day is a problem for sure. Skipping the gym one day out of the entire month is okay. Skipping the gym every day is not okay. So you just need to be, just control a little bit yourself and be chilling, okay? Okay. So I had the beer and I also had pizzas. Look at this. Guys, if you guys want to organize meetups, I'm going to tell you something. Companies are begging to spend money. Like in Lisbon, so many companies literally just offer themselves to do multiple things like just paying the beer, paying the pizzas, paying the drinks. They just offer themselves to just pay all of this. And I think there was so many leftovers at the end of this live show. So many leftovers at the end of this meetup. Look at this. There was more pieces than actual people. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was like another 20s on the back. You hate maybe pay to fly and a speaker? What do you mean? Jonas is saying, I've been skipping gym all my life. Come on, dude. Let's fix that together, man. Just go to the gym tomorrow and start slowly. Start by just walking on the gym, for example. Okay? Do that for me, man. I will be happy if you come tomorrow to my stream and you say that you just went to the gym. Well, DFL, there is something to be said when you are starting sports in general, which is if you go outside and walk, it's kind of easy to just skip the walk if you really wanted to. But if you go to the gym and you make gym buddies, like if you make friends on gym, and then you just kind of talk to them and say, all right, every time I go, I will come with you and let's do this 3 times a week, for example. You naturally don't want to skip it because you just have that thing to do with your buddy and you just go all the time. That's what I do with my personal coach. I hired a personal coach, so I make sure I don't skip it because I'm paying shit tons of money to have a personal coach, so I won't skip it for sure. you know. Anyways, chat polyfills are really interesting for this kind of shit. When you have a certain piece of code that needs to run in multiple PHP versions, this is something you can do. Okay. And yeah, I think that's it. Conditions, what is this? Oh, interesting. Just a place to have a few classes with a single passes method. That's a good thing to organize your code. Congratulations, Theophanius. By the way, Theophanius, this code looks professional, looks awesome. I can see already that you are a great PHP developer, so congratulations for that. Again, I don't think like reviewing packages is actually something I want to do on my streams. I would much rather review actual web applications, people stuff that people do all the time. Okay, are you there? Well, congratulations, man. Congratulations. This looks awesome. Okay, chat. One more. Let's go. Fbarento Data Factory. And I do know for a fact that this is equally a package. And I know the author. Fbarento is one of the many viewers we have here on stream. And he told me about this package already. He told me that he needed Laravel factories outside of Laravel. And he actually have built this project, which is agnostic from Laravel, but gives you access to the Laravel factories if you are using Symfony or if you are using, for example, a vanilla PHP project, which is interesting. So let's see what we have here. A beautiful README so far, so congratulations for that. The modern testing factory to pass PHP, write cleaner, more maintainable PHP tests with expressive factories. This is a good thing, by the way. So in general, when you're writing tests, you need fake data, and typically that fake data comes from factories. And I think like this is just a better way of creating that fake data. Okay, so obviously framework agnostic, relies on Faker for creating some of those values, supports PHP 8.2, 3, and 5. Here you can put PHP 8.5 already because it's missing here. So why use data factories for testing? So instead of doing this shit, I assume we do just this. Exactly, makes sense. Just like in Laravel, but we can use this outside of Laravel, which is interesting. For the factory definition, we just use what we would do on Laravel using fake to produce many of the fake data. And we also have this methods to mutate some of that data, like associated. So it makes a lot of sense. Congratulations. The README is super clear. And I love this section, by the way, Fbarento. You're welcome to contribute. Data Factory is built with high quality standards, 100% test coverage, 100% type coverage, PHP stand level 9, modern PHP 8.2 or plus, pattern, so you can just run composer tests to run all the quality checks, or if you want to format the code only, you can just run composer lint. Beautiful code, right? Beautiful documentation right here. So congratulations to you, man. This is looking fantastic. Let's see some of the code. You are using Pack PHP apparently as well. So if I go all the way down, I assume you are using the latest and the greatest. I love to see when people are learning from my streams, and this is like a clear sign that Fbarento is just reusing some of the code I have produced in the past. So linting with Pint, refactor with Reactor, type coverage, typos, linting, unit types, refactor, all of that shit here. This is looking fantastic, and I assume we are using this stuff on the CI too. So if I go here to .github, workflows, tests, I will find here composer test. Ooh. What do we have here? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So you created two workflows, one for styling, the other one for the actual tests. I assume you did this because you want to have PHP stand and linting running on the latest version of PHP, exactly, and you want to have all the tests running on the various versions of PHP. This is good, by the way, Fberento. I would just replace this. I would just replace this vendor bin past with composer test unit. Okay. Besides that, this is absolutely perfect. Okay. Congratulations for this. Nivial is saying if I'm still using the mechanical keyboard. I'm not using the mechanical keyboard anymore. That was a disaster, if I'm honest with you. The mechanical keyboard didn't work out for me even after 2 months using it. I didn't get used to it. This is the best keyboard I have ever used in my life. Apple MacBook keyboard. Apple keyboard just works, and I don't see myself using anything else. That's it. Okay. League of Legends Fiction, hi from Philippines, how you doing? Paul Sereno is saying, preguiça of going to the gym. No good, huh? Come on, Mac, make an effort. Let's go to the gym. Apple keyboard here too, yeah. So Fberento, this is looking fantastic so far. Everything I have seen is looking fantastic. I don't know if you have used my starter kit or my skeleton kit. If you have, that's a good idea as well. What is mail map? Interesting. I don't know what this is. What else we have? We have PackPHP, cool stuff, specs.md. Let's go here into source directory and let's see what we find here. So we find the base factory class, which I assume is heavily inspired on Laravel's factory class, which is kind of expected. Yep. Fully typed though, which is a good thing. So that's a good thing to have as well. You're also using, I don't know how much of this is actually you or it was just super inspired on Laravel, but it's cool to see that you are using the latest conventions of modern PHP, including array maps with short closures, fully typed, including match statements. This is looking fantastic, by the way. Super readable, so congratulations on that one. The code is fully typed as well. What else can you see here? We have concerns, meaning that you are using traits. One of these traits is called has data factory. Interesting. Why do you need the trait? Oh, because we have two factories. You have the array factory in the other one. Let's search for this. Do I have a search? I don't even have a search. Oh, I do have a search. Miximiev is saying, I'm using a mechanical keyboard for 9 years without no problem, but also I have low profile mechanical, which think is better with, than the standard. Interesting. Velchev is asking if I'm part of the AI team. Yes, I am at Laravel. Yeah, the only thing I would say to this trait is that if you actually are using this trait more than once, it makes sense to be a trait. If not, don't use it as a trait, okay? It's fully typed using PHP generics, which is good. And I love as well the way you are using PHP generics, meaning that T factory, which means type of factory, is the base of factory, which is good. This is modern generics as well. Congratulations, dude. I knew that you're doing Laravel. I didn't know that you were also doing like things outside of Laravel, which is good. All right, let's click here on the sequence, for example. Highly advanced generics using PHP stand, meaning that this count is an integer that goes from 0 to the max value of an integer in PHP. It's missing here for some reason. Maybe we don't need one. But good stuff here. Yep. Cool stuff. Something I've been kind of adopting on the Laravel code base at the minute is that I don't write this anymore, meaning that I don't write comments on top of my public functions anymore. I just write, typing information, but this kind of comments, I don't write them anymore. This is not a good example because invoke might actually need a comment, but let's go here, for example, you don't have any of those. Yeah, here we go. Chat, are you guys, type yes if you guys are still writing this kind of comments, and type no if you are not. For me, when I have something like resolve sequences, I feel like we don't need this, so I just don't type them anymore, these comments. So a lot of people saying no. So you guys are kind of following the train with me. Like you also don't like this, but some of you are talking that makes sense for interfaces. Interesting. League of Legends is saying, I think yes for teams. Well, you don't need this kind of let me show you an example. Let's go here, for example, to the app service provider. And this is also not a good example. Let's go here, update user. Yeah, this is a good example, okay? Updates the given user with the given attributes, okay? Like, this action is called update user, which will update the user. We don't need this. Yeah, we don't need any of this, okay? I see that a lot of you are saying no already, which is a good thing. But some of you are just said that, what do you think about teams and everything? Well, I don't think teams need this. Like, this is still useless for teams. And, at Laravel, I was actually last year one of the many people saying that we need this kind of comments. But then I just said they are just useless. Let's just think a little bit pragmatic way. Why would you use this, By the way, YouTube people, go all the way down and put like on this video, okay? Don't forget about that. Go all the way down and put like on this video. Luis Cruza, just be mindful that sometimes doc blocks like params may actually give typing information that is useful, okay? I don't know if I have an example here. Let me show you. Yeah, I do have... well, I don't. Well, fuck it. But sometimes params may actually give you typing information that is necessary for make PHP stand happy. Okay? Zeno is saying, I just like consistency. So it's either everywhere or nowhere. So I am just like you, meaning that consistency for me is everything. And we either do it or we don't do it. And so I agree with you. That's why I think we should just not do it. Like in any place. Okay. So array shapes, for example, they make a lot of sense. Typing collections, it's equally a good example, Andrews. So that's a good one. Simon is asking if actions should have returns or void. Depend of what your action does. If your action, for example, marks something as read, you don't need to return anything. If your action creates a user, you probably need to return that user so the controller does something with it. Okay? Let's quick check the test suite, which I assume is just super strong. Let's click on unit. Yeah, of course, everything is being super well tested, which makes a lot of sense. And all those tests looks fantastic. Yeah, man, you are legit, man. F. Barento, congratulations, man. I have seen some of your code in the past, and I'm watching it right now. Just congratulations. It's just looking... It's an enormous evolution, in my opinion, okay? I have seen one pull request from you in the past, and now watching this is just crazy. So, congratulations, man. This is looking fantastic. Data Factory. Let me send you the package to everyone. Here we go. Here we go. Data Factory from F. Barento, one of the viewers of the live stream. And this is looking fantastic. Okay? Fantastic. This is exactly how I would produce this code. So, congratulations. F. Barento. Everyone clapping for F. Barento. Congratulations, man. Okay? And F. Barento is actually an interesting story because the very first time Esperanto have sent a GitHub repository to the live stream to be reviewed, things was just not, there was things that could have been better. And I told him that during the live stream, and he kept just going and just keep learning from these live streams. He's just a fucking monster. So congratulations. Very good stuff, man. Very good stuff. I would use this package as well if I were to develop a vanilla package that needs factories from Laravel. So this is very good stuff, okay? Chat, as a reminder, new YouTube video. Be sure to go here and put like on this video if you guys enjoy. By the way, just in general, what do you think about vlogs in general? If you guys like vlogs, if you want to see more vlogs like this one, be sure to type PS on the chat. I loved it to produce this vlog. I loved it to also to be able to come with my brother to this event. So I want to fly my brother to Laracon, India. I told people that I need 1,000 likes to actually fly my brother to Laracon, India. So it's very likely to just happen in terms of likes. But we never know. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Ruver is saying, I love that type of videos, to be honest. That's a good thing. I wish it to be longer, honestly. I know. So that's one of the feedbacks I got, is that people want this video, but like just longer and more detailed, which is a good thing. So I'm, if I am flying my brother to Laracon, India, we are going to have a lot of content, like from when I left home, when I'm catching the flight, during the flight, going outside of the flight. It will be so much content. Okay, Mishi CV is saying no more than one a week. Well, I'm trying to publish one video a week, and that is being tough already. So yeah, the next video on my channel will be in the same vibe as this last two. So it'll be a short video about programming content. That will be the next video on my channel, okay? Chat, next Friday, special live stream with Brent. Brent is the creator of Tempest PHP, but also is a software advocate at PHP Storm. He's coming again to the channel, and we are going to dive into expert stuff, okay? You guys know Brent. He's an absolutely awesome software engineer. Brent Rose, Tempest PHP. Here we go. Oh my God. Brent with D, I think. Here we go. Oh my God, I cannot search anything these days. Brent Rose. Is Rose, right? No? No Rose? Maybe no Rose. I will have to double check it. We need to ask Brent his take on past PHP. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, chat. I think that's it for today's live stream. Brent Rose will be here next Friday. Will be absolutely awesome. Before you guys leave, be sure to hit the like and subscribe on this channel. Let's rate someone as usual. Who do we have online on Twitch? Let's see. Boo, 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 boo. All right, let's search for people who are doing live streams at the moment, and let's rate them. Thank you, League of Legends. Thank you, thank you. Brent Rose with 2 O's. Oh, okay, that's why. How he's not using past on Tempest? That's interesting. He's making a mistake, but is his choice. He's writing his own testing framework? Really? I need to ask him why. Its own test runner? Okay. It's based on what? On PHP unit or something else? Or on nothing? Because it's faster. Again, it doesn't matter. Like, honestly, past PHP is just insanely fast. Plus, you can use parallel testing. Plus, we are working on other stuff to make it even more faster. So, what do you mean by faster exactly? You know? Which testing framework do you use, Adrian, by the way? Okay, no one doing PHP. How about Laravel? Use past PHP? Okay, cool. Okay, we have someone doing Laravel, but he might actually just speak Brazilian or Portuguese. So, I hope you guys will enjoy. It's called it Combizera. So let's rate him. Combizera. Combizera. Here we go. All right, chat. I'm gonna rate Combizera. Love you all. Catch you guys next Friday. Love you all. Peace out. Boo.